Every Major League Baseball ballpark ranked from worst to best. So I did a similar video for NFL stadiums, and the designs for some of the stadiums were just incredible. Like the Mercedes Stadium with the angles. I think there was two. There was one that looked like a star shape and another one that was really round and circular. The SoFi Stadium, the one in Vegas, with the black on the outside. Some of the stadiums were insane. So it made me think, like, are there really cool looking ballparks as well? Even though baseball stadiums usually, I think, have similar sort of structures, are there some really cool designs?
It's been a while since I've done a stadium ranking video, but we've already done ranking the NFL stadiums, the NBA arenas, so I thought next up is all the MLB ballparks. There are currently 30 used ballparks in the MLB. They tend to be drastically different from one another, with each ballpark having very
The backdrop is beautiful with the water.
different features and aspects that makes each ballpark special and unique with its own character in its own way. With that being said, there will be a lot of differing opinions on which ballparks are truly the worst and best. And trust me, I've looked at some lists on my own and they are all completely different. So I hope you guys do enjoy my crack at this ranking. I'm sure many of you will disagree, so make sure to put in your ranking in the comment section below, as I'm sure your opinions will be different from mine. Also, make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you do enjoy this video, and feel free to check out my channel. If you enjoy sports, you will enjoy my channel, as I upload 2 times a week revolving around all major sports. With that out of the way, let's begin ranking these 30 MLB ballparks from worst to best. Now, very clearly at number 30, with a surprise to no one, we have the Oakland Coliseum, home of the Oakland A's. Now, logically, they are moving on from the stadium.
I mean, this doesn't look too bad. You've got your baseball diamond, you've got the colors, the green and the gold. What's so bad about this one?
In the near future, looking at it, not really anything special appears to the eye. It has a very weird layout compared to most stadiums, isn't necessarily the prettiest stadiums, and there's been a lot of complications over the years. Despite the loyal fan base in Oakland, this stadium really offers nothing much to them. At 29, we have Tropicana Field.
I mean, I prefer the Oakland one to this one. This one here with this roof on there, I'm not really sure about that.
Now, this is the home of the Tampa Bay Rays, and it kind of just looks like a giant warehouse. I mean, the thought of a large dome is cool, but it could look better visually. Yes, the tank of Rays at the back of the field is a super cool touch, but besides that, this stadium finds itself not in the best location, no charm to be found, and additionally, weird lighting throughout the stadium.
Yeah, I don't really like this exterior. It looks really sort of bland and boring. Maybe they could have painted this, the colors of the team.
At 28, we got the home of the White Sox, Guaranteed Rate Field. Once again, not necessarily a bad stadium, but really just nothing stands out about it. Not to mention, it is really tough that this ballpark is completely outshined by the more iconic ballpark in Chicago and Wrigley Field, which we'll get to later. But once again, I have trouble even mentioning things to discuss with this stadium because there's so little things to discuss. At number 27, we have Angel Stadium. Once again, nothing too crazy stands out about the stadium, but
I love the way they've cut the grass, these patterns in the grass. Super cool.
There are a couple features that I do like the attempt, like that Angels Coca-Cola A on the outside of the stadium. They also try to have a bit of character with that rock work and waterfalls in the outfield, which, although it doesn't really do too much, it does kind of break apart the stadium nicely and attempts to add something which I can respect. But besides that, once again, from an outside view, you aren't really looking at anything that pretty, especially considering the stadium is surrounded on all sides pretty much by parking lots. At 26, we have Chase Field, home of the Arizona Diamondbacks.
I like how the fans here seem a lot closer to the action. That last stadium, there was a lot more distance, it felt like. But does it mean it's more dangerous though, because the ball can, hit someone in the crowd?
Now, they really intended this design to be with that open roof concept. However, being in the desert, the roof finds itself closed a large majority of the time, killing the purpose. The outside of the stadium is massive, way bigger than it needs to be. It's kind of frustrating because I really do enjoy this open concept. You have all these large windows and, like I mentioned before, the retractable roof. But like I said, they barely are even implemented and closed. Not to mention you have the scoreboard in the outfield, which really bounces back any home run balls, which is kind of a buzzkill for a lot of these stadiums. That being said, if you do like hopping in a pool on a nice hot summer day, this is the stadium for you.
The exterior is really cool here. You can see the merch, in such big, big screens. I think it's quite nice.
25, we have the Rogers Center, home of the Blue Jays. Now, at the time of installation, this stadium was way ahead of its time with that amazing roof. You have the CN Tower peeking into the stadium, which is honestly super cool. With that being said, the fact that this is a multi-purpose stadium at the end of the day kind of lessens its value. It has a weird shape for baseball. But I will say, once again, another cool feature of this stadium is the fact that it does have that hotel that peers into the stadium while...
I mean, this is cool. I mean, the stadium's like at the upper end of this list better be spectacular, because this, to be the 5th worst one seems a bit harsh, doesn't it? Like, it looks, from this angle, it looks really nice.
All the games are being played. Not necessarily my cup of tea, but I can completely understand if you rank this ballpark much higher than I do. At 24, we have the Globe Life Field, home of the Rangers. We have the defending champs stadium here, and when they say everything is bigger in Texas, they mean that with ballparks too. This stadium is enormous. Absolutely massive.
It's massive, but the capacity is not very big, is it? Only 40,000 compared to the 56,000 we saw earlier. I wonder why they haven't made it bigger in terms of the capacity.
Really have the looks or the character that you want from other stadiums. With that being said, just a really grand look overall. The roof is retractable, and the air conditioning even works while that roof is open, which is super convenient. The main reason it falls shorter on this ranking of ballparks is really just due to its outside look. Nothing special whatsoever, kind of an eyesore from an outside appearance. Most of the good stuff with this ballpark is coming from the inside. At 23, we have Lone Depot Park, home of the Miami Marlins. Once again, featured is a retractable roof that doesn't see itself open very often. This stadium is pretty generic all in all. I will say they did remove the very cool feature of that fish tank right behind home plate. I don't know why they ever got rid of that. Not that it really makes a huge difference on this ballpark ranking, but it definitely would have been nice if they kept that, because I'm a sucker for fish tanks. At 22, we have...
I think this is really cool, man. Like, it's almost like a spaceship. Like this flying saucer thing going over here, and this is like... This is unlike anything I've seen, this sort of like roof structure.
Nationals Park. It's an alright stadium. You have that nice large screen in the outfield with that cool signage of Nationals plus the Nationals logo on the right side. That just lights up at night, which looks really cool. One of those outdoor older school ballparks that really don't do much but you can appreciate. Coming in at 21, we have the Great American Ballpark, home of the Cincinnati Reds. One of those older feeling ballparks, and I do think that it delivers on that charm that a lot of these ballparks are looking for. I feel like it's overlooked. I mean, there isn't really anything that stands out too much, but it is right against the Ohio River, which...
This is really nice, this backdrop. Like, for some reason, I've got a bit of bias towards stadiums that have like some kind of body of water near it. It just adds a lot of charm to it, Like, especially, you could probably see from sitting up here, you could probably see the water, couldn't you, as well as the game.
You can get a nice view from the upper seats. And additionally, there's the feature called the Notch that allows fans to walk towards the park from downtown that kind of gives you that view of inside the stadium, which I think is super neat. At number 20, we have the American Family Field, home of the Milwaukee Brewers. Architecturally, the stadium is nothing that special. The exterior is nothing to write home about. The interior is kind of bland, but at the same time symmetrical, so it doesn't look terrible. But then you have that retractable roof, which kind of leaves some weird shadows on this field especially. But then at the same time, once the roof is actually closed, it doesn't seem like there's enough natural light being let in.
This is very unique. These arches, I've never seen... Like, I do have a thing for, like, really unique designs, and this is super unique. Kind of looks like waves, doesn't it? Like water waves.
I will say, though, although this is a stadium ranking and not a fan ranking, Brewers fans do an amazing job at bringing this amazing energy inside the stadium and outside with their awesome tailgates before the game. At 19, we have Comerica Park, home of the Tigers. Now, I'd say we take a leap in the stadium quality at this point. All the stadiums from here on out are good or better. Comerica Park definitely has a lot to offer. I do enjoy the interior, although nothing really too special. I'd say the most special, aspect of the stadium is those giant tiger statues in the front that just look intimidating and they represent the team well. You also have tigers on top of the scoreboard. Heck, there's tigers all over the stadium. There's fountains, a carousel, a Ferris wheel. There's just so much to enjoy. And the Detroit Tigers really make this place feel like a ballpark. At 18, we have Kauffman Stadium.
Where would you guys say is the most iconic baseball stadium in America? Like, if somebody was coming to America and they wanted to experience like the most nostalgia, the most sort of history, where would you tell them to go? Like, and try not to just say your team. Like, let's try and be, as impartial as possible.
Once again, another great stadium that I wish I could put higher, but there's just a lot of good ballparks out there. Kauffman Stadium is definitely on the smaller side, but it packs its charm. I mean, just the area it's located, although there's parking lots surrounding the area, the way the stadium is positioned and the seats are facing, it actually has a nice scenic background. One of those older feeling baseball stadiums, but at the same time doesn't really show its age and is not outdated by any means. You also have that nice scoreboard in the center, and I love how they have that crown on top of it. At 17, we have Progressive Field. Just like Kauffman Stadium, this is on the shorter side of things, so you'll have a good view from no matter where you sit in this stadium. And they've been pumping in a lot of money for renovations throughout the stadium as well, really just trying to upkeep this park. And then you also have some of that Cleveland skyline in the background, which makes you feel immersed in the city. At 16, we have Minute Maid Park, home to the Houston Astros. Once again, another retractable roof design. The stadium actually looks quite different with the roof on and off.
It's surprising that it's got 41,000 capacity. From this angle, it doesn't feel like it. It feels like a much smaller stadium. I'm guessing because we can't see, how high this seating goes and this seating over here.
Overall, definitely a good stadium, but it has its pros and cons. Talking about the pros, I love the train and the train tracks on the left side of the field. Definitely delivers some character there. Not to mention, overall, I do like all the light being let in the stadium. With that being said, there are areas of the stadium which look very outdated, I must note. And I haven't really mentioned this about too many other ballparks, but this is one of those stadiums that will have some weird home run bounces, not only off the roof, but also off the side walls as well. Entering the upper half of this list, at number 15, we have Truist Park, home of the Braves. It's really all you need out of a ballpark. Yes, it has a relatively simple layout, but I do appreciate the simplicity, and they do spruce it up a bit with the area known as the Battery outside the stadium that features a community of restaurants and businesses.
I do like this old school sort of brick exterior. Feels really, I don't know, retro. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's almost like a factory. Like, it's almost like you're walking into like a factory.
At 14, we have the Yankee Stadium. Now, this stadium comes with a lot of controversies, plenty of fans, and I'd say honestly the majority prefer the old stadium to the new. But with that being said, I still really enjoy the new stadium. I love the outer design of the stadium. The inside holds up its part as well. And there's just other cool architecture and features that make the stadium feel older, such as the frieze along the top of the stadium, which I really dig, and then it also has Monument Park, which is a really special touch. At 13, we have Citizens Bank Park, home of...
I really like that stadium, the Yankee Stadium. The exterior, again, that factory look just feels very, I don't know, American.
The Phillies. Once again, just your run-of-the-mill ballpark, but with very passionate fans, delicious food, especially the crab fries. And the statues of Mike Schmidt and Steve Carlton out front is a nice touch as well.
Try those.
You also have a decent view of the Philadelphia skyline, and I really enjoyed that Liberty Bell sign that is in the outfield. At 12, we have Coors Field, home of the Rockies. Now, there's definitely more to this stadium that meets the eye. I mean, you look at it, it looks very simple, but you gotta realize the views of the stadium are amazing. You can not only see city, but you can see mountains as well in the distance. There's also many cool features, such as in the outfield, you have all that shrubbery, and in the shrubbery, there are multiple fountains that go off when the Rockies take the field, hit a home run, and during that 7th inning stretch. And then there's also this fan seating area known as the Rock Pile, which sits high above the center field wall. And this is a great spot for fans to enjoy the game from a distance.
How much does it cost to go to see your baseball team? Like, are we talking, is it similar prices to NFL games or NBA games, or cheaper? Because I think the baseball season's a lot longer. Is that right?
At number 11, we have Target Field, home of the Minnesota Twins. Just a super neat, clean, well-kept field. Beautiful video boards on both the left and right sides. And right in the center outfield, you have that awesome Win Twin sign that not only lights up, but it also moves as well, which is super cool. Just a very clean appearance from the stadium overall. Exterior looks nice, and additionally, you get that view of the Minneapolis skyline. It's just a very cozy stadium, and that really makes sense once you realize that it has the smallest square footage of any MLB ballpark in the league. We are entering the top 10 ballparks. Kicking us off, we have Busch Stadium, home of the Cardinals. Man, what a beautiful skyline. One of the better skylines that we see out of any ballpark in the league.
Yeah, this view is really nice. I know it's just buildings, but they're cool buildings. Like this arch, this all glass building here.
Features that St. Louis skyline, and you can perfectly see the arch in the background, which is amazing. Such a great atmosphere for baseball, filled with very passionate fans as well. In addition, I just love that Budweiser sign with the 2 cardinals on each side. At number 9, we have T-Mobile Park, home of the Mariners. A great place to watch a baseball game. You have an incredible view of the Seattle skyline, and also in between the skyline and the stadium, you have the Seahawks Stadium, which you can appreciate the beautiful architecture of that stadium as well. You have that retractable roof, which is just simply enormous. That thing looms over the stadium, whether it's opened or closed, and looks amazing. Not to mention, this is wrapped up well by a really nice exterior on the stadium. At number 8, we have Citi Field, home to the New York Mets.
It seems like baseball stadiums top out at around 48,000 capacity. Like, what are the biggest stadiums here? Like, are any in the 60,000 range and above?
We were just talking about the great exterior at T-Mobile Park, but I think Citi Field's exterior is even better. Beautiful brickwork along the outside looks great. Behind the outfield, you have that super awesome apple that rises up every single home run, which I think is such a cool touch.
That is cool.
And then right above the apple, the Mets currently have the biggest scoreboard around the MLB. At number 7, I just want to mention that once again, we take another huge leap in ballpark quality. These top 7 ballparks are all very elite. I can completely see why any of these 7 might be somebody's favorite stadium in the MLB. And I could see any ranking of these 7 ballparks as well. And it was extremely tough to pinpoint which ballparks out of these 7 I thought were better than the others. But let's start with number 7. We have PNC Park, home of the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Nice view. Very impressive. Like, I'd be quite distracted, to be honest. I'd be looking at the buildings instead of the game.
I'm going to get the underwhelming exterior out of the way now because there's so many good things I do want to say about this ballpark. Most notably, when you think of this park, you probably think of the best skyline view out of any ballpark in the league. You have the beautiful Roberto Clemente Bridge in the background that matches that Pittsburgh Pirates yellow. The Pittsburgh skyline, which is really underrated in my opinion. Not enough people talk about that skyline. And then additionally, just a well-kept, beautiful park throughout. It just feels like baseball is meant to be played here. Some people say that this ballpark was a ripoff of Oracle Park, which we'll get to later, but in my opinion, that's probably what makes it good because Oracle Park is simply stunning as well.
Almost looks like a mini version of the Golden Gate Bridge, you know, the one in San Francisco. If it was orange, it'd be like the same bridge.
Entering at number 6, we have Oriole Park at Camden Yards. This stadium just feels absolutely vintage, and I love it. It's super connected to the downtown area of Baltimore. So much charm, passion inside the stadium. And of course, the most iconic feature of this stadium being behind the right field, that giant warehouse. That brick building just looms over the right side of the stadium and is amazing. You also get a pretty decent glimpse inside the city of Baltimore with those buildings past outfield.
Feels very, very vintage, like you said, you know, very old school. Is this one of the oldest current use MLB stadiums?
What's really special about this stadium though is how it has become a blueprint for other stadiums and a huge inspiration, where we see other stadiums such as Petco Park copying a lot of these vintage, really classy design details in their own stadium's design. And speaking of Petco Park, that is what is coming in at number 5. Like I said, heavy inspiration off of Oriole Park as they built that beautiful brick Western Metal supply building in left field.
View.
It looks absolutely amazing. The fact that they incorporated that into seating really gives so much character to the stadium and looks amazing. Additionally, the exterior of the stadium is also very impressive. Located in the heart of San Diego, it looks amazing. And with that being said, you do get a decent view of a lot of the buildings in San Diego. And then finally, you also have that center field park that fans can lay down and relax and enjoy the game from a distance, which is super cool. At number 4, we have Dodger Stadium. Super classy and super...
Yeah, this is the biggest one so far. Wow, 56,000. This is humongous. I love the shape of the field as well. I'm probably using the wrong the wrong terminology, but yeah, this is really nice.
Scenic. This stadium probably has the best weather year-round out of any stadium. The bright sun perfectly complements that beautiful hilly background. That must look absolutely amazing with ball being played right in front of you in a gorgeous scenic view as well. This is the 3rd oldest stadium in the league, so obviously they do a great job at maintaining it. A very impressive capacity of 56,000, which would be the highest if it wasn't for the Oakland Coliseum. And I can imagine sitting in this wonderful stadium while watching the amazing talent of players such as Mookie and Shohei. That must be such an incredible experience.
So Shohei Ohtani plays for these guys. Okay.
At number 3, we have the classic Wrigley Field, home of the Chicago Cubs.
Is Otani still dominating? Like, I think last I heard, he was like on path to be one of the best MLB players like ever. Like, I think he's a two-way player.
The second oldest ballpark in the MLB currently, and man, can you tell, in a good way. You have that beautiful ivy fence going around the outfield, which looks amazing. That old green scoreboard. Although the seating could be a bit better, that's also because they don't want to touch the history, which I completely respect. Skyline of Chicago in the background, and how can you forget the exterior of Wrigley Field? Very vintage, beautiful design though, and then you have that classic Wrigley Field, home of Chicago Cubs sign on the outside.
Really nice. Almost looks like a carnival, like a carousel.
It'd be a privilege to watch a game here. I've only driven by it. But this ballpark perfectly encapsulates what an old stadium was like. At number 2, we have the oldest ballpark in the league. This is Fenway Park. Obviously the home of the Red Sox. This stadium, once again, is just classic. So many unique features that can only be found at this stadium and are not even replicated by other stadiums around the league. Obviously the biggest example of this would be that towering green monster, one of the most iconic things in baseball's history completely. It looks great and presents itself as a fun obstacle as well. You have a nice view of many of the larger buildings in Boston, as well as just some nice signage around the stadium. You have that iconic Citgo sign, the Coca-Cola sign. In the exterior, as well as the areas around the outside of the stadium, help complement it perfectly. They really just scream older Boston, and it's amazing.
I would love to know the ages of these stadiums. Like this stadium here, if I had to guess, are we talking like 50 years old? So built in the 60s maybe, or 70s?
But at number 1, the greatest ballpark in the MLB currently, in my opinion, we have Oracle Park, home of the San Francisco Giants.
Look at
there is
view.
No better location for a ballpark than what we see here. It would be
This is gorgeous, man. Just this water here. And having the big screen, so like you're looking at the screen, you're looking at the players, you're so close to the players. This is amazing.
Privilege for me to someday watch a game here, because I can only imagine just the feeling of the baseball atmosphere with that beautiful background, boats passing, during night games, lights on in the background. You can get a view of the Bay Bridge from some seating angles as well. And it only makes sense that this place is accompanied by the beautiful weather of San Francisco. Always sunny games happening. I also love the fact that people are literally kayaking right outside in the water, hoping to catch a fly ball, which is amazing. And the great thing is, this ballpark does not only succeed based off of its location. The actual interior of the ball.
Love this, man. The palm trees and this, the way it's glowing. Oh, this is wow. I need to get to the. I need to watch a baseball game at this stadium.
Ballpark is surrounded by many classic icons like that Coke can, the baseball glove, a beautiful video board in the outfield. Not to mention, this ballpark is known for having absolutely amazing food. Not to mention, I've experienced this firsthand. The outside of the stadium is simply amazing with a beautiful entrance. The orange lit Oracle Park.
Wow. Look at this. This is beautiful.
Sign in the front looks amazing. The plaza is beautiful as well, filled with
Fully
palm
agree.
trees. Additionally, you have the charm of San Francisco going all around the stadium with a trolley system literally right outside. This stadium, in my opinion, definitely takes the number 1 spot, as it has the best location in the MLB, one of the best exteriors, and an amazing charm and atmosphere. Thank you guys so much for.
Man, that Oracle Park Stadium is beautiful. Beautiful. Like, he clearly has a bit of a preference for classic stadiums, classic looks, the vintage look, and I have to agree, it just gives the stadium a real, like, it makes you feel like more immersed, or at least me, more like immersed in the baseball culture and stuff. I really want to go see a game at the Oracle Stadium, but to be fair, all of the stadiums here looked really, really nice. Super curious as to the prices, you know, for a good seat, some food, a couple of beers, you know, a hat, a shirt. What's that going to run me? Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.